The silent collapse. Picture this: a bustling city. Neon lights flicker against glass towers that stretch into the haze of the night. The low thrum of traffic weaves endlessly through concrete arteries. Cafes are crowded, laughter spills into the streets, and trains rattle beneath the ground, packed shoulder to shoulder with strangers. At first glance, the world seems alive, maybe even thriving. People scroll endlessly on glowing screens, conversations carry on, and commerce hums in every direction. But beneath the glow, the cracks are spreading. The foundation beneath the glass towers isn't solid, it's splintering. The rhythm of daily life hides something fragile, a system stretched thin, stressed, and quietly unraveling. Civilizations don't fall with the dramatic crash of a single blow. They falter in whispers. They unravel thread by thread until the structure still appears intact but is hollow inside. By the time people notice, it's already too late. The scaffolding of trust, stability, and balance has given way, leaving only the illusion of strength. Historians call this the creeping collapse. Rome didn't fall in a single night of fire. The Mayan cities didn't vanish in one catastrophic event. These empires bled out slowly, drained across decades. Economic strain hollowed them. Environmental shifts strangled them. Political corruption rotted them from within. And during all of it, ordinary people kept living. They traded goods, farmed land, prayed to their gods. They walked through bustling markets and raised families. They believed in tomorrow because tomorrow had always come before. But then, one day, their familiar world stopped. The systems they trusted were gone. The empire had dissolved while they were too busy surviving inside it. Now, look at us. The parallels are haunting. Resources dwindle. Climate systems buckle under pressure. Inequality deepens, carving gulfs between those with power and those without. Trust in governments, media, and even truth itself erodes year by year. Collapse doesn't announce itself with alarms. It looks ordinary. It looks normal. Until suddenly, it doesn't. This is the terrifying part. Collapse feels normal while it's happening. When Rome fell, its citizens didn't wake to instant chaos. They lived through decades where markets still opened, baths still filled, gossip still echoed in the streets. They were breathing collapse daily, too close to see its outline. So what if this is us right now? What if the slow unraveling is already underway, hidden inside routines, disguised by glowing screens and endless distractions? Would we notice? Or would we look back years later and realize the fall had begun long before we had words for it? If collapse creeps in silence, then we must ask, what replaces us when everything familiar dissolves? That leads us to an even more unsettling horizon, one where humanity itself may not have a place at all. The post-human horizon. What if humanity isn't the final chapter of Earth's story? Imagine a horizon where we are no longer the main character, where something else, born from evolution, technology, or even our own creations, inherits the future without us. Some futurists argue humanity is only a bridge, temporary, a stepping stone. Artificial intelligence may one day eclipse us, not only in speed of thought, but in creativity, strategy, even survival instinct. Genetic engineering could sculpt beings we wouldn't even recognize as human. Climate upheaval could force radical adaptations that change us beyond recognition, or give rise to something altogether new. Our species might not end in fire, but in transformation. Not extinction, but replacement. This horizon raises chilling questions. If the future belongs to something not human, what role do we play now? Are we creators, midwives birthing an intelligence that will outlive and outthink us? Are we caretakers of Earth, destined only to hand it to another mind? Or are we simply an evolutionary glitch, fragile, temporary, destined to vanish, remembered only as the ancestors of something else? The horror here isn't death. It's irrelevance. The possibility that we fade quietly into silence, replaced, while something else carries the torch of existence forward. If humanity's story might end with our creations surpassing us, then the boundaries of the future expand into something stranger. What if the one constant we cling to, time itself, turns out not to be constant at all? The time trap. Time feels like the one thing we can trust. Seconds, minutes, hours, flowing forward in an unbroken line. But what if that sense of stability is a lie? What if time isn't a straight line at all, but fragile, warped, or even illusory? Some physicists argue for the block universe theory, where past, present, and future already exist all at once. Under this view, free will doesn't exist. Every choice we believe we're making is already written, locked, part of a timeline we can't escape. Others propose time may not stretch forever. It could bend. It could loop. It could even end. Imagine a universe approaching heat death. Time drags on endlessly, but nothing changes, nothing moves, no events occur. Eternity becomes indistinguishable from nothingness. If time is an illusion, what does prediction even mean? When we talk about the future, are we describing something real, or just a coping story our brains invented? The most unsettling thought is that the future has already happened. We're not moving toward it. We're trapped inside it, lagging, replaying events already fixed, inevitable, unavoidable. And if time itself is a trap, then existence isn't stable either. Which leads to an even darker question. Maybe none of this is real at all. That possibility drags us into the simulation hypothesis. What if our entire universe is nothing more than code? The simulation endgame. What if everything, every tree, every star, every thought, was nothing more than the output of an advanced simulation? Not matter, not space. Just data running on a system we can't perceive. Philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed the simulation argument. If a civilization ever becomes advanced enough to simulate entire universes, then statistically it's far more likely we are inside one than outside. Imagine a video game so detailed, so immersive, that the players inside don't know they're playing. The laws of physics? Just code. The boundaries of space? Programmed limits. Your thoughts? Lines of computation. If this is true, what happens when the simulation ends? Does someone, somewhere, simply switch it off? Do we reboot, living the same patterns endlessly? Are strange coincidences, déjà vu, or unexplainable phenomena just glitches? The scariest thought isn't that the simulation ends violently. It's that it ends without explanation, without meaning, without anyone inside even noticing the difference. And if this is all simulated, maybe the darkest ending isn't collapse, or replacement, or even time itself. Maybe it's something simpler, not with a bang, but with silence. The long silence. The end doesn't have to be fiery. It doesn't need chaos. It doesn't even need drama. Sometimes the darkest future is the quietest, a silence that stretches forever. Cosmologists predict the heat death of the universe. Every star eventually burns out. Black holes evaporate. Galaxies drift apart until even gravity lets go. Energy spreads so thin that nothing new ever happens. Existence continues, but stripped of meaning, stripped of motion. A universe where everything has already happened, and nothing will ever happen again. This is perhaps the most chilling end of all. Not destruction, not suffering, just stillness. A vast eternity of silence where memory fades, matter dissolves, and nothing remains to carry the story forward. Even the idea of us, the thought that we once existed, dissolves into the void. And so, as we return from these dark predictions to the fragile present, one truth lingers. The future is uncertain, but its mystery makes now precious. The fact that everything could end or transform at any moment gives this second its haunting beauty.